Alright, so we're going to be doing a qualifying here. It's going to be second lap. I tested a little bit ago. And actually, I'm going to be doing the trick for this qualifying lap. I know that I didn't do the trick for B Fixed Hot Lap if you watched that, but I made a video on my main channel about the Super Speedway qualifying trick a couple weeks ago. And this will apply to this lap especially because it's the second lap. So the thing with the qualifying trick is that you want to start in fourth gear. And what that does is it makes it so that your tires are just not heating up. So you want as cold of tire as possible at super speedways. And with this, we're bringing the car up to speed while imparting the littlest amount of heat as possible. So for this, I'm just gonna coast through 3 and 4, and then I'm gonna start going about when we get off of 3 and 4. You can't go below 100 miles an hour or else you'll get the furl black flag. But for this, start going. I want to make sure that we're up to speed for the actual lap. We should be pretty easily. So now we're just going to run our first lap pretty normal. So it doesn't even matter what line you run on 1 and 2 in the first lap. I just kind of don't care. Okay, now it looks like we are already pretty much up to speed, which is good. Now we'll be able to carry this speed, and hopefully with our slightly cooler tires, we're going to be able to run a really good lap on the second lap. So we're going to run up top. Now make sure not to be right by the wall because of the wall arrow. The same aerodynamics that they make the cushion out of actually slows your car down a little bit if you're too close to the wall. So because of that, we're going to just stay right here. I'm going to stay up here, and I'm going to turn down to the bottom and kind of apex it right on the yellow line.
3.399.
Okay, now I'm going to keep the car a little bit up, but I want to make this entire corner only one turning motion. So just one turning motion, and now I'm holding it. Now I'm right by the yellow line, and I don't want to move the wheel barely at all. And then coming off the corner, we let it slide up a lane, and then just turn back to center. Alright, I'm going to set up my car about a lane above the yellow so that I'm ready for turn 3. Aim for the yellow. One turning motion, hold it. Little movement as possible. And let the car slide up about half a lane. Now in these cars, I think you can do apron or you can do no apron. I'm going to go for apron.
52.2.
And there we go. So kind of a long way to get to the same result, but that qualifying trick of not heating your tires by starting in fourth gear, that will really help get a couple extra hundredths, and that could be the difference. So I have pretty much the same tips as I do for the B car video. I don't want to really repeat myself, but I guess some people just want to watch one or the other. So I like in these cars, especially in fixed races, to be towards the front because track position is not the easiest to come by in these races because with the fixed sets, it's pretty easy for the lines to stall out. You'll be the same 2x2x2x2 until somebody tries to make it 3 wide with 3 laps to go, and then nobody can hold their nerve and then they all wreck. So if you're in the back and you're like, okay, crap, it's getting late, now I gotta go to the front. Well, guess what? Everyone else wants to go to the front too, and that's when the crunch happens, and that's when you get in a wreck. So why not just be in the front in the first place? Now, if people are really squirrely in the front, if you really in your heart believe by what you are seeing with your eyes that they are going to wreck, then yeah, I would understand bailing from the pack. But don't just bail from the pack just for the sake of bailing from the pack. If it's a good couple lines and everybody's kind of minding their business, driving around, nothing's too erratic, there's no reason not to be in the front of the pack. So that's why I like qualifying in these races, and I like hanging around in the front in these races. But other than that, some other tips. You don't really need to pit for tires ever. It's not going to be any issue. If you are making a pit stop, make sure that your brake bias is high enough to where you're not sliding into your pit box. So just for that reason, I like keeping the brake bias like at 70% or so for the race. Steering ratio and offset, whatever's comfortable to you. I like having it a little smaller, like 12 to 1 or 14 to 1 for qualifying, and then maybe raising it to 16 to 1 for the race so that I can hold a line better in the pack. But it's really all up to comfort. Nothing's going to be faster than anything else, and that's pretty much how it is at all tracks, but at Daytona and super speedways especially. So other than that, just make sure that you are making a good impression on your lobby, making sure that you're holding your lines really well, making sure that you're giving good pushes when they're appropriate. Those will go a long way at the end of the race. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got. So thank you all for watching, and hope to see you all on the track.